Oh, it's Tuesday, May the 12th. The word for you today, our devotional, is start your day with God. Our scripture passage comes out of Psalm chapter 5, verse 13. It says, Morning by morning, O Lord, you hear my voice. Morning by morning, I lay my requests before you and wait in expectation. Have you ever woken up on the wrong side of the bed? You ever woke up and you're just in a bad mood for some reason? You don't know why, you just are. Um, what is it? What happened that things just seem to start off wrong? Well, some people hit the floor running. Some people wake up and move. They're moving. Other people have to. They move slower. When I was in St. Louis, Missouri, I shared a two-bedroom apartment with a friend of mine. His name was Rod. Rod was one of those guys that when the alarm went off, he cranked up the stereo. His feet hit the floor running, and he was moving about loudly. Me, I liked to wake up a little slower. Matter of fact, it got to the point where I would get up an hour earlier just so that I could be up and even be gone before Rod's stereo kicked in. Just two different ways. Neither of our ways is right or wrong. It's just the way that we are. So, what do we do? How do we start our day with God? With the stereo blasting or quietly? David has given us a good example of how to start each day. He says, morning by morning. This repeat morning by morning, then later on in the same verse, he says morning by morning again. He's talking about how important it is to start in the morning. Now, not everybody's a morning person, but even for those who aren't a morning person, you can still start the day with God. And it's either reading scripture, talking to him. Um, it's important to start the day with God. There was some, the Bible talks about putting on the armor of God. Well, some people spend time with God in the evening. Well, that's great, but you put the armor of God on, and it's better to put it on in the morning than the evening because you go through the day with that armor, it just makes us vulnerable to attacks. Not everybody's a morning person, and not everybody has the time. Take a mother that has young children. When does she have time? Maybe it's just talking to God while you're changing a diaper, talking to God while you're feeding an infant. But just taking advantage of the times that you have. Going to work, talk to God, turn off the radio and talk to God while you're going to work or on the way home. Fishermen that are successful, they go out early in the morning. Shoppers see a big sale, they're there when the doors open. Getting started early, getting started is a good start, has a lot to do with having a good day. He says, so morning by morning, then I lay my requests before you. It's good to know later in the day that I've already talked to God about things. I've already talked to him about what I'm needing, and I want to hear from him, and I need direction on this or that. And it's as we go through the day, it's good to know that I've already talked to him, and I'm continuing to talk to him. And then wait in expectation. Morning by morning, O Lord, you hear my voice. In other words, you can count on me coming to you, Lord, in the morning. Morning by morning, I lay my requests before you and wait in expectation. When I call my wife on the phone, I expect her to answer um, because I've got something to tell her or ask her. And so when I'm calling her, I'm expecting her to answer. Well, when we talk to God, are we expecting him to answer? Why would you call somebody if you don't expect him to answer? And sometimes we're not expecting God to answer. Then we wonder why our prayer times aren't very fruitful. You talk to God. Tell him what's going on in your life. Tell him what you're feeling. But then ask him to speak to you and expect him to. As you start the day, what helps you? For some, like I said, they start off fast, others start off slow. That's really not the issue. Neither one's right or wrong. But do you start off the day with God? There was a man, he talked about his his track experience. He was in sixth grade on a sixth grade track team, and he was running sprints. And he was a fast runner, and they had these starting blocks. And so the time came for a track meet, and he's excited because he knows he can beat these guys. And so they get in down there and in the starting blocks. They get in position, and they say on mark, set, and then they shoot the pistol. And as he started to go, his feet slipped in the between the starting block and the gravel. It slipped, and he was face down on the track. Everybody else is taking off. He gets up quickly and takes off to try to catch him, but it was a short race, and he ended up last. And he realized, he thought later, he said, getting off to a good start is so important. And for us, getting off to a good start in the morning is important. And one of the best ways to do that is to start off talking to God. It may be for an hour, it may be for 2 minutes, but start your day with God. Start your day with God and see if that doesn't make things go better. Have a good day.